This is the first time we are having you, and we're really glad to have this access to come to the Secretariat today to have this special section with you, sir.
Thank you very much.
And we hope our viewers, growing viewers, will enjoy this very special and informative section.
By God's grace.
So for record purpose, can we meet you, sir?
I'm Bldr Sesan, Daini, Chairman Igbogbo Baiyeku Lcda.
Let's move ahead, sir. We recently saw an information that was disseminated from your council concerning a food bank initiative to alleviate the impact of this fuel subsidy removal. So for essence of clarity, can you share with our audience the need for this to come out and also improve the lives of people around your LCD?
Anyway, Igbogbo Baiyeku Food Bank Initiative is a program we decided to put with the approval of the Executive Council of the local government to support our citizens and residents in the issue of food security. There is a general Yoruba proverb that says that we know that one of the major challenges that our people are having with the subsidy removal is increase in price of everything. So even if the council cannot solve all the problems, we made up our mind that the most common problem, the most challenging problem, most especially to average citizens of our country on our Lcda, is food. And what we are doing is just to make sure that we support them. So the Food Bank Initiative will be a 6-month subsidy palliative program. 6-month subsidy palliative program in making sure that we support and we give out food to our citizens and residents. We'll do different type of program. It's not compulsory that it's once in a month. We can do twice, but it will be minimum of 1 time in a month, that we'll see how we can reach out to our people in terms of providing and making food more affordable and accessible to them. So we'll be doing one on Thursday, and we'll be dishing out more than 4,000 foods to our residents and our citizens to be sure that at least that solves the immediate problem. We cannot get in touch with everybody, but we must make sure that we did not do this for political gain. We do it to meet the needs, because we have some people who voted us in. We have some people who are part of our governments that are not politicians. So they must equally benefit because they are residents. And what we do here is to serve citizens and residents, not minding political, religious, ethnic, or color, or language. What we are interested in, as long as we are here, is the government resources. And the government resources is for everybody. So we're just coming out to give our support to people in terms of food. And if power permits, and financial strength gives us the strength to, we will go into some other palliative measures apart from food. But our major concentration now is food for our people.
One thing that comes to mind whenever we hear about you, your name, the Bldr title that comes before your name, a lot of people have been asking questions. Why Bldr? Can you share more light to that title?
Anyway, is an academic title. I studied building in University of Lagos, and being a graduate of building department does not qualify you to be referred to as a builder. The way an engineering student will write Koren, same way building graduate will write an exam called Kobon. Kobon is an exam constituted by Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria. And once you pass, there are stages. Once you pass the final stage, you will be inducted, and you have the right to use the seal, you have the right to use the stamp, that is to certify a plan that is buildable. And most graduates of Kobon exam are referred to as MNIOB. MNIOB is Member Nigeria Institute of Building. And once you are qualified to be referred to as MNIOB, you can be called a builder. And more so, I have my master's in construction management, and I'm presently doing my PhD in construction management. So I have all it takes to refer to myself as a builder.
If you want to summarize your administration and leadership approach so far, how can you explain to anybody summarizing your administration going into the second term today?
Anyway, the issue of leadership, the issue of leadership style, I might actually want to leave that to people to judge. So I won't be a judge in my own case. But in fairness, I think I've operated and presently operating open door policy, welcoming new ideas. I appreciate criticism as long as it's constructive. And I believe in people's input, value to make governance more inclusive. And I want to say that on the performance of the government in the last 6 years, we have tried, but I know it can be better. We have worked within the availability of fund, and we have tried as much as possible to touch lives and major sectors of governance. On education, we have done our part. Health, we have tried. The major challenge we are having is on road, and I'll still come to that. On security, we have done. Environment, we are not doing bad. So all of that, in fact, creating an enabling environment for business to strive, we have equally done our part. So I want to say that on the scale of 1 to 10, people will judge, but to me, I know the least figure to get A in an exam is 70. So I know I have A. Whatsoever figure people can give, but I know even if it is 70, I know I did not perform below that, based on my assessment, but people will judge better.
Last year, we talked about the road which the stadium extension road which is under construction. Works are going on, but for those ones that are lingering and are affected by this wet season, what can you say? What is on ground? What is in progress? What are the plans to help to curb this road challenge that some of the residents are facing today in the Baiyeku FC?
Anyway, this is a long story, yes, and it's something that has actually been giving me headache. In all we do here is to make sure that life is meaningful to people. What we do here is to make sure that to the best of our capacity, we reduce the pain and inches on people. But on the issue of road, I can say that I feel the pains of our residents and our citizens, majorly on some specific roads. The major specific roads that I'm talking about is Bola Ahmed Tinubu Igbe Road, Ginti, Baiyeku Road, Ofin Road, Doreta Road. I was discussing with some people and I said, from Sumuratu Junction to Ofin is about 9 kilometers. From Sumuratu Junction to Oreta is about 6 kilometers. So the two is about 15 kilometers. To construct a 15-kilometer road is not what a local government can embark on. And we have tried as much as possible to do some palliative. Even the Ministry of Local Government came in at a point to still support us on palliative. But what we have is a problem that palliative cannot solve. What can solve it is full construction, because naturally those soils are loose soils. And loose soil compartments without drainage will fail. It is just a technical issue. So I know, I understand what they feel. Even Baiyeku Road, thank God, the governor of Lagos State, Mr. Lcda, listened to us and he has started construction of Igbogbo Baiyeku Road, at least phase 1, that will get to the housing estates, and phase 2 will come after. So the phase 1 part of it is ongoing. People have been saying that the work is slow, but I just want to appeal that they should understand that there are a lot of technicalities in road construction. Most road construction will slow down during rainy season because of the casting and some other things that were involved. So as we are moving out of the raining period now, I'm sure that the road will definitely have the full attention of the states And as you have said, is when they were to start, they told us it's 18 months construction. So we're still within the range. And it is when it's going out of the range, or getting closer to the range and we're not seeing it, that we can start actually lamenting. But I understand why people are raising their intention, their agitation now because of the timeline. But I can assure them that the governor is actually interested in solving this problem before the end of the approved time for the road. And on Bola Ahmed Tinubu Ginty Road, I want to say this, that the issue has just been resolved to a reasonable extent, and I will assure people that with what I know, with the last meeting held at in the palace of Adeboruwa, with myself, the management of high-tech construction, and Kabiyesi, and the assurance and the words of the state government, that before the end of this year, the road will not be the same. At least there will be significant improvements in the construction of the road. It can be painful. It is something that our people should just understand, that no government will be happy when its citizens and electorates are feeling bad and not happy. So it's not what the state government or the local government are doing intentionally, but there's a circumstance that might be beyond control at a particular time. But I can assure you that we are overcoming it and we'll solve the problem very soon. On the inner road, because more people will tell me that even the inner roads that are your responsibility, how is it going? I want to say this, that in Igbogbo Baiyeku alone, I have more than 1,000 inner roads. And when we talk about almost 1,000 inner roads, that tells you that it is more than all the roads in the entire Surulere local government. So grading them too is equally a challenge. But we step up. We're only trying to prioritize not leaving education alone when we are attending to road grading, not leaving health alone, not making sure that there is nothing to write home about our environment. So we're just juggling around the financial strengths that we have. But immediately, we did some major grading before the rain starts, and we will equally resume back after the rain. And I will call on the CDAs and the CDCs to come through their structure to give us the major roads that needs attention, and we'll look into it through the councillors too. A lot can be achieved on our inner road palliative measure after the rainy season.
Tell us what makes it, what is that unique side of your leadership that really brought you to that open access kind of leadership traits that you have?
Anyway, I was a former speaker to University of Lagos Student Union. And being a student union leader, you know, the first thing is that you have to operate an open door policy. So I started my political path of activism with a position that you cannot but be open to students. And immediately after that, I traveled to South Africa, so I studied public governance and human management. So in that, I actually understand the benefits of listening to people, relating with them, talking to them, because information, they say, is power. So once you don't talk to them, you won't blame them for whatsoever they do, because they don't know. That they will use to know what is in your mind or what you are planning until you tell them. So for any government, you need to speak out. And that's why we're having this type of session. That's why I can face you and tell you about the pain that I know my people are facing. But it's beyond my immediate power, capacity to solve, but I share their pains. And that is why when they comment, even on platforms on social media, I smile and I say that, Adibin, they know how I feel. Most of them will not say this. So, and on the other hand, I was a former personal assistant to Chief Dele Ajomale, the APC chairman in Lagos State, the longest serving APC chairman in Lagos State. And that tells you that, as a party chairman, I learned from him that for you and your party to strive, you must talk to people. So I work with a man who equally operated a full open door policy. After leaving him, I was Special Assistant Minister of Environment to Mr. Tunji Bello. And as an environment commissioner, you must just listen to people, except if you want flood to take over your state. So my political activities and history has been with people that for their office to work or for governance to strive, you must listen to people. So I'm getting to my office, I think this a community where you need to relate with people. So not relating with people might misinform them, might mislead them, misguide them. So I decided to have an open door, and that's why you see me on the corridor at times, or sit down downstairs and start talking and relating to people, just to hear them and give them answer as and when appropriate. So that is just the secret behind it.
Talking, I wonder, what is your philosophy about life, sir?
My philosophy about life is that people must live a good life. There is a particular saying that the major glory of every leader is the good welfareism of his people. So I believe that there must be good welfare package for people to live. People must live and live well, live good life. That is my philosophy and ideology about life.
Okay. You are operating at the names of affair on the Lcda level. At the federal level, we just had a new administration coming in, and they are about to take off, settle down. If you want to advise Nigerians, at this time where there's this drastic turnover that people are trying to understand what is going on based on the different, from the removal and all that, and some of the hardship that are being faced. If you want to advise Nigeria from the federal side of things in terms of how they need to persevere during this time, where the economy and the system is witnessing I would call it a paradigm shift, what would be your message to Nigerians?
Anyway, my message to Nigeria is so simple that our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I've just spent about 63 or 64 days in office, that we have observed a lot of things. Some Nigerians are happy with, some they are not happy with. But I must tell them that the man is not a magician. He must follow some steps to make Nigeria work. I love his broadcast yesterday, and I think it's actually a broadcast of renewed hope for Nigerians. People just need to take their time, print it out, and read it again. Not just listening to it. It's a statement that is full of issues and challenges facing our country. Like he said something. He said we have recovered, that we have saved about 1 trillion naira that some people will have just siphoned into personal. For a man to come out and declare what has been saved, that money is going somewhere since 1999. And even before 1999, nobody came to say this is a way to solve it. So for things to take shape, there might be little challenges that we'll face. I just want to plead that Mr. President and those in the hands of affairs, including us in the local government and state structure, to make sure that that pain did not last longer than necessary. So as we're feeling the pain, we should be bringing some palliative. And that is the idea behind his introduction of palliative method and measure by the federal government, states, and local governments. Let me tell you something. As a builder, if you want a house to have a new look, 2 things must happen.
So have a new what?
Look.
Okay, so
a new look,
yes.
A new appearance.
Yes.
2 things must happen to that building. It's either you demolish or you add. If you did not either remove or add, it will remain the same look. So if you want something new, something to change, you cannot expect it as usual. There must be some change. So whatsoever we are passing through now, we should consider it as a removal of some of the bad parts and inclusion of some of the good parts to have a new and a more beautiful structure. So I just want to appeal generally to Nigerians that we are actually in a safe hand. We are in a good hand. And I can say that his last 8 years in Lagos, between 1999 and 2007, can speak for itself. That he did not meet Lagos very good, but he left very nice. That one thing we can say is that we should pray for him for good health and long life, like every other Nigerians we ever pray for. And when I mean good life and long life, it is what a child of 18-year-old can equally pray for, because nobody knows where death will come. Nobody knows what tomorrow has for them. For this man to bring out his genuine and sincere intention for this country and save us from our former life and former way of handling governance in Nigeria. So it's a renewed hope government, and I can assure Nigerians that we will actually have a better future than what we have now.
So you are actually advising them to be patient and see how things is going to turn over positively.
Like I said, to be patient, while governments equally look for a way to support while being patient. And that is the idea behind the palliative measures by the federal government, by the state government, and by local governments.
Okay, thank you, sir. So as we let you go, your message for your residents and indigenes in the Baiyeku Lcdas.
Anyway, I need to thank them for the last 6 years. And I need to appreciate them for their support, their prayers. And those that have been putting us on our toes, I say thank you to. Those that have been criticizing us, God bless you. Don't stop doing that. It keeps us moving and moving fast. And I want to equally say this, that with them, I will do better. And with me here, I assure them of a better Igbogbo Baiyeku than I leave it. Thank you very much.